another week of Head to Head Sports. I'm your host, Brian Parker, along with my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. How goes it, sir?
Going good, brother. Going good.
I see you are repping your Steel City.
Oh yeah, all day, all day.
Oh my gosh. What a game. What a game. We'll definitely get into that. That's man, I don't know how the Steelers just win ugly, but they win. I tell you, it's crazy to watch. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We are here for another week. Thank y'all for joining us. We are streaming live and direct on YouTube, so please join us on YouTube under Empower TV Network. Like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. It does help with the algorithms, and we do appreciate that every time somebody does join, and especially if you do share it because it lets other people know about the content that we have. In addition to Head to Head Sports, we also have Head to Head on Thursdays every single week at 7 p.m. We're also streaming live and direct on Amazon Fire TV as well as Roku. Let me double check my Roku, make sure we're up. Yes, we are. And we're up on Roku as well as LinkedIn and Facebook Live. I'm sorry. And we are also live on X, formerly known as Twitter. So check us out on any of those platforms. A lot of those are mobile, so you can always take us on the road wherever you are at any given time. So we do appreciate y'all for joining in. Please, if you have any comments, share those with us too in the chat box. We love doing the show with you guys. It helps it move along really, really nice. Let us know how you're feeling about your teams out there. And there's a lot of folks feeling kind of iffy about their teams after this past week because down is up and up is down, left is right, right is left. Man, this is why they say, Rand, any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday, man. Who would have saw what happened on Monday night with the Minnesota Vikings
I mean,
without their best wide receiver, still taking down San
I
Francisco?
remember last show. I'm old enough to remember on the last show, I sat there and totally blew off the Vikings and said this was going to be a bloodbath, that the 49ers were going to run up and down the field on them. And I'm just going, what the hell? But I'm going to be honest with you. By the time Monday came around, I wasn't really as surprised anymore after the shenanigans I saw on Sunday. I'm just like, okay, hell, the best game probably was Jaguar and Saints because on that Thursday night game, because I started seeing some other games, and I'll just throw something out there and get your thoughts on them. Number one, Ravens and the Lions. I mean, the hell happened to the Lions? Did they get caught looking past the Ravens? Can you
I
really
don't know,
do
man.
that?
Lamar Jackson just comes out of nowhere sometimes and plays these superb games, and that's why he's been in the MVP conversations before because of games like that. I sat and watched the first half of that game, and I mean, there was no stopping the Ravens, and Detroit's defense couldn't do anything with them. Um, so he was
Yeah.
passing the ball, he was running the ball, his passes were really on, they were on target. So he has games like that. And then what's frustrating to Baltimore fans is when he does the opposite of that or when he's not available. But if he
Yeah.
played like that for all 17 games and also played like that in the playoffs,
Hmm.
Baltimore would, they would be in contention for a ring.
He had 9 different receivers. Um, Gus Edwards, running back, actually caught a 80-yard. I guess you call it a reception. But he was the leading receiver. But even Odell Beckham got 5 catches, had the most targets and catches out of anybody. And keep it going, Brian Parker. Thank you, John Andrews. Thank you. Appreciate that. It was crazy just to see this game happen the way it did. Odell Beckham had a lot of catches. Mark Andrews had a handful of catches. Aguilar had a catch. Bateman had some catches. It was just interesting to see him throw the ball around, keep it out of harm's way. He didn't throw any picks, which is, like you said, looking at Lamar Jackson, the biggest knock on him is being able to put together a complete game. The other biggest knock on Lamar Jackson is, okay, He just had a 21 of 27, 357-yard game, 3 touchdowns thrown. He also rushed for 1. Um, what's the next game going to look like?
Exactly.
That's what you get with Lamar Jackson is he'll have this game and make everybody in Ravens world just go crazy. Like, oh my God, this is the guy. This is why we gave him the money and everything else. He'll justify why he got the money this past game. But his issue is consistency.
Yep, it's that inconsistency that have always been like, if I was an owner, if he wanted that money and he was holding out before, like he was doing, if I was the owner of Baltimore, I honestly would have moved on.
Yep.
But I'm not the owner. They made their decision. I guess that they're happy with their decision. So so be it. I'm not a Baltimore fan, so it doesn't affect me one bit.
At least they were happy last Sunday.
Yeah, they were happy last Sunday. Now the Sundays going forward and the Sundays in January, we'll see.
Exactly. Well, it does affect you to some extent because they're in your conference. And
you know what? They are in our conference, but we beat the crap out of them. Well, I'm not saying beat the crap out of them. It's always close games, but we've handled him and Baltimore.
That's what I'm saying. None of this season makes any sense. You get one team to beat another team, then another team end up beat that team, and they garbage. I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. It's like, okay, the 49ers beat up on the Cowboys, then they lose to Cleveland. What?
Right.
Or everybody's beating up on New England, but then they beat the damn Bills.
Yeah, I don't even know how they strung together enough offense to even compete.
So we got some games. This is head scratcher Wednesday. Because I'm looking at some games and going, what? Was this on Madden or a real game?
You never know what team is going to show up. I mean, the team and their record, but you don't know what team is going to show up.
Right. And you know what else is funny is when it comes to divisional games, man, that's a whole nother animal. It just is when division. Now, the Ravens and the Lions definitely aren't in the same division. It is an AFC versus the NFC game. It did put both teams at 5-2 for sure. The Lions, I think, I just expected more of their defense. I honestly expected more out of their offense because up until then, Jared Goff had really been playing some really good ball. Do you know that he threw the ball 53 times?
You know what? He had to. And I'll say that because Baltimore went up on them so quickly that running the ball was no longer an option.
That's true.
They got up 35-0.
Yeah.
I want to say they got up 35-0 in the first half. It was something ridiculous to that.
It was at halftime, it was 28-0, but shortly into the third quarter, it did get up to 35-0. They didn't score those 6 points until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So by then it was already 35-0 and then 38, and then they ended up with the 6 on it and didn't get the 2-point conversion. I think it was a touchdown that Goff ended up getting. It was no. He threw a pick. Gibbs ran for a touchdown. But it was just one of those games where the offense really just could not get it in the end zone. I thought the defense was going to be aggressive. I was really, really wondering what Aiden Hutchinson was going to do as far as putting pressure on Lamar Jackson, making him uncomfortable standing in that pocket, if that was going to cause him to be flushed out, run, not utilize his receivers, and things like that. But that just was not how that game went. And that, to me, was very surprising. Just crazy.
Yeah, I just gave Hutchinson his props last week when we were talking about how some defensive ends just keep coming and have this huge motor and can't seem to be stopped. And then, I'm watching the Baltimore game to see what effectiveness he would have on their offense, and they completely just vaporized that dude.
Yeah. Well, just like Michael Parsons, I think Aiden's going to be a great defensive player for many, many years to come, provided he stays healthy and everything else. I just guess I have to accept between him and Micah, they're going to have some games where teams are going to really do their best to scheme and game plan for them in a way that it can neutralize them, especially depending on the type of a game that you play, whether it's getting the ball out of the whole key is really getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly, because those guys' biggest asset is that they can get in the backfield very, very fast. So if by the time they come around that edge, the quarterback doesn't have the ball anymore, or he's climbed the pocket to where he's not where he first took the ball, that's going to buy him a little bit of time against some really, really speedy guys like that. Whoever they're in front of, they're going to be in one-on-one matchups. We definitely know that. Nobody's going to be able to guard these guys off the block. They're going to have running backs chip. There's going to have to be tight ends to do other little things like that to buy the quarterback time. But then when you have a quarterback that's very decisive with the ball, goes through his progressions really, really fast, but basically can get the ball out of his hands, it's going to start to make guys like that, their speed, while it's their strength, can sometimes then end up being their weakness because they can overrun a play. And basically, you got a guy in the backfield that now, excuse me, may have little to no impact on what's going on down the field because they've overrun the play.
Yeah, their offensive line did a real good job on Hutchinson, and even when he did get to the backfield, Lamar just quickly ran right by him or ran
Right.
to the other side, and I mean, it was just zero impact whatsoever, man.
That's amazing.
It's been a long time since I saw a game. I think Baltimore scored like the first 4 times that they had the ball or something
Right.
that ridiculous.
It kept going.
So, yeah, it was a quick blowout, and I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was just one of those games where Lamar was super hot.
I mean, he had everything going for him in that game. So, good for him. I don't root against Lamar. I don't like the way that he, thrusts his leverage on the team and stuff like that. And I'm glad to see Odell Beckham really being involved in the offense and stuff like that, even though we know he's not that guy that he used to be. He does prove that given under the right circumstances, he can still be useful in instances. So that was good to see too. They've got a really, really interesting game on Sunday against the Cardinals. So we'll see. He should, if he did that against the Lions, but see, you can't even use that level of assumption in this league. But if you could, you would say, well, surely if he put on a show like that against the Lions, him going and playing the Cardinals should almost be a give me.
Exactly. You just would think that, it's like there's no way the Cardinals can freaking hang in this game. But then all of a sudden you turn around and we're sitting here having this conversation next Wednesday. Like, how the hell did they? It's just been that kind of a weird year.
It has been absolutely crazy. So we brought it up earlier for just a second. I mean, the Patriots. This is the same Mac Jones-led team where Bill Belichick has pulled Mac Jones out of at least 2 games this year because they were losing so bad. Now Mac Jones turns into I don't know who, 25 of 30, 272, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
25 of 30. Is that what I heard you say?
You did. For 272 with 2 touchdowns, no picks. He threw more than Josh Allen did. Allen threw 41 times. He hit 27, 265, 2 touchdowns and a pick.
Wow.
Yeah. You can't even make this up.
I can't even believe what I just heard. You said Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
25 out of 30.
And the Patriots at halftime were up 13-3 on the Bills.
That is the weirdest of the weird.
This reminds me of the Giants game where the Bills and the Giants were basically handling the Bills. It was a low halftime score if it was anything. And they did not let the Bills really get onto the scoreboard until the second half. Well, the Bills didn't score their first touchdown until the third quarter of the game. They basically had to make a game out of it in the fourth quarter where they did outscore New England 15-3, but it just was not enough. They still fell short by 4, 29-25 against those same New England Patriots to give them their second victory of the year and drop the Bills down to 4-3. And I bring that up because this is a divisional game, yes, but this is a division where we really thought that the Dolphins, well, we thought with Aaron Rodgers coming in that the Jets may make a little bit of noise. Wasn't really sure how that was going to translate into wins. But then you've got and we just basically wrote off the Patriots and say, well, they'll be number 4. The Jets will be number 3, and then the Bills and the Dolphins will fight for number one. And that was just kind of the consensus there. And the Patriots are still number 4. The Jets are number 3 in the division. The Bills are number 2 in the division, and the Dolphins are number 1 at 5-2. And we'll talk about the game that they just had as well. So I'm not really surprised at the order right now in that division, as I am surprised at how it's gotten that way and who has put them in that order. That's the funny part. You know, I'm not surprised that the Patriots are at the bottom. I'm not even surprised now after the Jets lost Aaron Rodgers after the 4th play of the opening game that they're in 3rd place. I'm not even.
What I was getting ready to say.
Huh?
That's what I was getting ready to say. As soon as Rodgers went down on that, opening drive or whatever it was of the first game, my automatic thought pattern was, oh, the Jets are done. They're going to be bottom in that daggone division, but they're still fighting. They're still fighting.
They are. They're actually still being very competitive. A lot of it has been their defense, but I'm not going to crap on Zach Wilson. He has played a little bit better in spurts and in spots.
Yes, I have to give it to him.
Yeah, he gives you a reason to believe sometimes. It's good Zach, bad Zach. When he'll give you some plays where you'll go, okay, that's why we drafted him as high as we did, and he'll give you some other plays and you'll go, I don't know about that dude. That dude need to be bagging groceries. He go from one end to the other. You'd be like, why is he even in this league? To man, there's a heck of a throw. Only a handful of quarterbacks can make throws like that. Yada 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 yada. You hear it all the time, and so he's just all over the place. Again, it's an issue about being consistent. He's a young guy, so you do expect a little bit of inconsistency from some of your young guys. I mean, you got CJ Stroud that's not being that inconsistent yet, but I do expect as he develops and as he goes on, he's going to have some more up and down games. As teams get more tape on some of these guys, they'll start to figure them out, whether it's a Michael Parsons or Aiden Hutchinson or CJ Stroud, Zach Wilson. The more and more tape that they get on you, and they can see what kind of schemes really give you trouble and things like that, they will start the game plan more and more for you like that. The other thing to remember about Zach Wilson is there wasn't a lot of tape on him because he didn't play a lot of ball.
Yeah.
So as teams get more and more tape, you will start to kind of see that. So it's just been crazy. I cannot believe that.
You know what, man? Speaking of tape, I know this is breaking away a little bit, going to college ball, but what do you think about that Michigan scandal, dude?
Oh my gosh. What in the world is going on?
That is terrible. That is terrible. You talking about Spygate to the next level. I mean, it's again Spygate, but this time in college ball. How can you? There's so many things you could say about that, and I know this is an NFL show, so we're gonna get back to NFL quickly. But
go for it.
I just wanted to speak on that one for a little bit because I just never heard such cheating blatantly done like that since Spygate.
You're right.
You're literally paying for somebody to have a seat behind the bench of the opposing team, and you get caught filming their entire sidelines for the entire game rather than spending any time, putting the camera on the game.
Right.
And then you're paying people all over the country to do this for teams that you think that you're going to face. So you could feed this information back to Michigan, and then the coordinators on the sidelines have every idea of what you're going to run because they've already been rehearsed and briefed on it. That is just crazy. And people, some people say, oh, it didn't have an effect. Well, if you saw what I posted earlier, during the 3 years this has happened, Michigan was 33-3. And then the 3 years prior to this happening, same amount of games, they were 21-11.
Wow.
Little fishy to me.
And you got to remember, in college football, all it takes is 1 or 2 games to put you in a bowl championship series and to put you on the outside looking in. So all it had to do was change 1 game, and that could have been a lot. So
absolutely, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When you're talking about teams that only play 12, 13 games in a year, that can have a big impact. And here's the
So
other thing: if it didn't have an impact, why are you still doing it?
why are you doing it? So it was interesting to see, the NFL, they handled Spygate by basically sweeping it all up under the rug because
They
it would have devastated the league
did.
and done a lot to hurt the league as far as gambling. When the Patriots did what they did, if all of that information was made public. So they really like destroyed the evidence and said, move on, nothing to see here. We're going to slap the Patriots on the wrist and keep it moving. So
Right.
it's very interesting to see what the NCAA will do about Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, because how are they going to quantitate the effect that it had? I mean, are you vacating games? Are you vacating championships? What are you going to do? Are you putting them on some kind of probation, um, sanctions? What kind of things are they going to be able to do? Because how do you quantify what impact that really did have on the field? Did it have some kind of impact? I don't know, but I know that people don't do stuff for no reason. So if it didn't work, they wouldn't keep doing it. Um,
Yeah,
the whole thing to me
33 to
is,
3 tells me it worked quite well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing to me is that look, if you can't beat them on the field, then you don't need to win. Period. Don't
Amen, man.
keep playing. If you got to go through all of that because you're trying to get what are you trying to do? Win more games so you can get another contract. Win more games so that, or is it just ego? What are those types of things done for? You already have a successful program. Win, lose, or draw. I mean, you're a get. When you come play people, your fan base travels. When people come play you, it's one of the biggest games of their year, even if they're going to get their heads beat in. So, what is it that you're looking to get from this, other than just a little bit elevated notoriety and stuff like that? Come on, Steve, come on.
Yeah, and just shame on Michigan, man. Shame on you too, Harbaugh, because you said, what are they getting out of this? And I really think it was Harbaugh trying to save his job. He might claim that he didn't have any knowledge of this going on. I will never believe that.
Me either.
But like I said, it'll be very interesting to see what the NCAA does about this whole thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I hope they would stop trying to sweep this stuff under the rug and actually get to the bottom of it. Because if you don't, somebody else is going to figure out how to do it
Exactly.
and do it in a way where they can potentially get away with it or get away with it for a while before it's uncovered. So we don't really want that. We want these guys to believe that their wins and losses are based on their performance and what they're putting out on the field, one way or
Right.
the other. That nobody has a leg up on anybody, everybody out there. It's 11 against 11. Nobody likes that feeling when they feel like the refs contributed to the game. You don't want to feel like there were other outside influences that contributed to the game. You want it at the end of the day to come down to them 11 guys looking in the eyes of them other 11 guys across from them and figuring out who's going to get it done today. And that's
Exactly.
it.
Amen.
That's it. No, I'm glad you brought that up. That's just sports in general. That we want them to be competitive and fair. That way, you end up with games like the ones that we saw. You end up with your Steelers beating on the Rams, 2017. Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand this team. I don't understand how they score. I don't understand how they win, but they just do it. And you just know that when you play Matthew Stafford, he gonna throw you one. You already know it. If your
Yeah.
defense is worth anything, they're gonna throw you one. Now, I did mean to say this early on, Rand, and I don't think there's gonna be any dispute. I did not think I would say this going into this year, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. As of the first 7 weeks of this season, there ain't no division tougher than the AFC North.
No. No.
No.
No.
I don't even think that's controversial at this point. After what I've
Yeah.
just seen over the first 7 weeks of this season, I don't think there's any division tougher than the
Absolutely
AFC
not.
North right now.
When you look at who's at the bottom of the division and you see Cincinnati, but they're 3-3, mind you, that just tells you how crazy things are. Because Cincinnati was my choice for making the Super Bowl. So yeah,
Right.
you're absolutely right. That North is no joke, man.
Good God, what? And that's another thing when you say it. The Ravens are 5-2. The Steelers and the Browns are tied for second at 4-2. The hell universe is this Earth 5? What are we doing here? And then the team that we picked to win the division is at the bottom currently at the bottom of the division. Now, is the bottom going to fall out on the Browns? Of course it will. Um, or the doo-doo's gonna go back to being the doo-doos? Absolutely.
Oh,
But right
Mr. Massage, don't even want to play no more.
I know. And that's the other thing. Again, this is the thing that is surprising me. Not only who's winning, but it's how. They won with their backup. They had PJ Walker. PJ Dan Walker. That name should sound familiar to us.
Oh, yeah.
Game winning drives in the last 2 games and stuff. I'm like, God dang, PJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got other teams winning with Giants. Tyrod Taylor has played better than Daniel Jones. Where I think they're looking at Daniel and going, "Yeah, I think you need another week. You almost there.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
almost there, but we don't want to rush you back too soon. We'll just stick it out with Tyrod for another game to see what's going to happen because they're." All of a sudden, their receivers actually know how to catch the ball again.
Yes, the receivers are getting the ball. It's like I don't see how you could even justify going back to Daniel Jones at this point.
And the only way they're going to justify it is their ego and say, "Well, we just paid this dude. He gonna go out there and play." You can't do that. I don't care what you just paid this man. The hot hand is the hot hand, and
that's what I say.
But yeah, when I look at this North right now is just brutal. Nobody wants to play the AFC North right now. That's for sure. And these damn pesky Steelers, man. My God, they are pesky. They just keep on coming. And when you think you're sitting there and you stifling them, you get putting them in 3rd and outs and stuff like that, they just don't stop. They keep coming. It's crazy how they keep winning these games.
It's that defense for real. TJ Watt is an absolute monster. I mean, here we are. We're sitting. We're losing that game 6-0 at halftime, I believe, something to that effect.
It was actually at half. It was 9-3.
Okay, so 9-3 at the halftime. We're completely out of that game emotionally. There's no spark in the stadium.
Right.
And they're driving down the field again, and all of a sudden, TJ Watt, who is an outside linebacker, mind you, he's on one side of the field. He comes off of his read in pass coverage, jumps in front of the intended receiver and picks a ball off, and then starts taking it back like he's some defensive back. The dude is insane. You should not be 290 pounds and running and being that agile and being that athletic.
Yeah, running like a gazelle.
Yes. That dude is insane, man.
Oh my gosh. These dudes are just amazing, man. I mean, you're right. The defense is always going to give them a chance and an opportunity to stay in games and then sometimes win them. Because to your point, you're down 9-3 at the half. There is no real signs of life. It's like, oh Lord, here we go again. And that's what I thought when I was watching the game. Like, nothing to see here. Keep it moving. And then the next thing I know, they scored 14 points in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
The Rams didn't score anything, and I'm going, what?
What just happened?
The team that couldn't score any touchdowns in the first half scores 21 points in the second half.
Yeah.
So either there's starters out the gate or whatever. But yeah, and Kenny Pickett, again, he only threw 25 times, but went 17-25, 230 yards, no interceptions. He didn't have any touchdown passes. He ran for one. Very short play. I remember him doing that. He ran it in. Every touchdown they got, all 3 were on the ground. Even Najee Harris got one. He got his average yards carry up just a little bit to 3.8. I think he was 2.4 the week before that. But to your point, the guy Jaylen Warren, 6 for 32, so he had a 5.3. Najee got the bulk of the carries, but they only ran the ball in totality 29 times. That's really they got to get a little bit more on the plus 30 side, I think, to get back to Steelers football when you're talking about running the ball.
Well, they got that offensive coordinator just literally drives me crazy, man. If our record was a losing record, I'm sure he'd be gone by now. But it's the fact that we are 4-2 and we're winning games. I think that's the major reason why he's still kept around. even though he drives me crazy because I mean Steeler offensive football is just so predictable. They run when you see the run coming. They pass when when you know it's going to be a pass. It's just so predictable, and it just leads us to being down most of the time in the first half, and then something clicks and we're back in the game, and somebody makes a good defensive play and we're leading, and then it always comes down. Can the defense hold? And usually we do in the fourth quarter, but yeah,
Yep.
it's crazy, man.
Well, congrats to those Steelers because they are still in the thick of things. This that division is really going to come down to the last week of the season. I truly believe to figure out how things are going to shake up. I think there's still going to be some movement all across the board as far as where teams are ranked. You can almost take a snapshot right now where everybody is, and there's a good chance that it may not look that way by the end of the season. Like there's going to be some shifting going on for sure. That's why those division games are really, really going to matter. That when you win one of those, it's almost like you won two games. The head-to-heads are really going to matter because that's normally the first determination of a tiebreaker. So if you end up with teams that have the same record at the end of the season, the head-to-head matchups will then determine who gets ranked in front of the other. So all those games are going to become very, very important. And just because one team is hot when they play a divisional opponent, you throw all of that stuff out the window, and it's just going to be 11 against 11. Ain't nothing else going to matter, your record or nothing.
Yeah. What are these teams going to do when it comes down to the trade deadline too? That's going to be a little interesting.
I got that on the thing too because we've had a few trades going on. We had one just yesterday, I believe, with Tennessee and Philly. So we'll get into that one too because man, Roseman is just still just trying to keep making his team better and better and better in Philadelphia. So and I think he did, and we'll talk about some of the other players too that potentially could be on that trading block. Before we get to that, Green Bay and Denver had a game. What the hell's happened to Jordan Love?
God, man, talk about a regression. Good God Almighty!
I mean, he started out look good, and then just over the last 2 or 3 games, it's like, who is this guy? And it's like, bro, you got Russell Wilson on the other side. I mean, you can play better than that. It's Russell Wilson right now, But
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, 20 of 29, only 194 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Javonte Williams ran for 82 yards. Sutton had 76 yards receiving. With Jordan Love, 21 to 31, 180. 2 touchdowns, yes. 1 pick. But it was just, but the interception he threw made no sense at all. All y'all needed was a field goal. Why are you throwing into triple damn coverage when all you need to do is get your team in a position to kick a late winner? Now, if you get in the field goal range and you want to safely take some shots downfield safely, if it's there, but forcing it up and just letting somebody jump up and get it and end the game, that's just either bad coaching, bad decision making, all of the above. But
He drives me crazy with that. He did that a few weeks ago when they were playing the Chicago Bears. If you
yes,
remember when we were talking about him targeting Christian Watson all the
like
time in
the
that
only
game.
person on the field.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. He ended the game in that fashion by trying to deep bomb the Christian Watson. It ends up getting picked off when there's so many other options underneath that were open. Just drives me crazy to watch that. And I can't stand in general to even see like on a 4th down and 1 where a quarterback drops back and he tries like a deep fade or a deep comeback route. For what? You need a yard. What are
A
you
yard.
doing?
You could almost bootleg it out and get that yard just running on the corner.
Right.
My God, why? I don't know. That game just shook my head too because that was one of those games. Now look, I didn't expect the Packers to be in contention this season. I did expect them to actually be at the bottom of the North, just because of the other teams in the North. I expected Chicago to be slightly better, but I really expected it to be basically the Lions, Vikings, kind of back and forth between the Packers and the Bears for 4th place, and that's what they're doing right now. by hey Tim Vincent, how you doing? So the Packers and the Bears are mathematically tied, or the Packers are a little bit better because they've played one less game than the Bears. Packers are 2-4, Bears are 2-5.
I gotta tell you, man, I'm disappointed by Love from what I've seen so
Me
far.
too.
For somebody that's been on the bench for this long and had such an opportunity to learn behind Aaron Rodgers, he's not showing that. He looks lost out there.
And he knows the offense better than anybody.
Now, did
he get to run it that much in the regular season? No. But you practice, you were second team, so you went against those guys on a regular basis, and you're not really seeing anything from that. So I thought he would be further along. They're now on a 3-game losing streak, by far not the worst losing streak in the NFL.
So we know who that is. God Almighty.
I think there's going to be confetti and a ticket tape parade going on when they win the game, but I digress in that. You've got the Packers just looking like they're headed in the wrong direction already. Teams that are headed in the wrong direction, as you were alluding to, are really going to have to contend with the fact that the trade deadline is in a week. And what are they going to do between now and then to either say we need to offload some capital and start looking at 2024, or if we need a few pieces to get us over the hump, what are we willing to do that as well? So a lot of teams are going to approach the trade deadline from two totally different directions. Already this month, we had a few trades. We just had two yesterday. Well, you call it one really, between the Eagles and the Titans. The Eagles sent Terrell Edmonds, their safety, to Tennessee. They got rid of him.
Former Steeler. We got rid of him, and now he's went to the Eagles. Couldn't hack it there either.
And then the Titans send the Eagles Kevin Byard, the free safety, to bolster their defense.
I'm going to say that the Eagles got the better end of that deal.
Absolutely. Howie Roseman knew exactly what he was doing. He's like, wait a minute, you're going to give us Kevin Byard for Trey Edmonds? Sure. Okay. Let's do it. And earlier last week as well, Mecole Hardman went from the Jets back to the Chiefs after the Chiefs traded Mecole Hardman to the Jets in the first place. So Mecole wasn't really getting a whole lot of play on the Jets roster. So putting him back in the mix with the Chiefs, and I believe he actually ended up with a pretty decent game on Sunday. He did play Sunday, didn't he? When the Chiefs played, oh Lord, I just saw it. The Chiefs ended up playing the Chargers on Sunday, and I do believe Mecole Hardman played in that game, or he did not. No, he did not. I don't see that. Wait a minute, am I looking at it right? Nope. Okay, it'd do better if I actually look here. Mecole Hardman did play in that game, only one catch, 6 yards. So got to get back into that offense and everything else. I thought I did see him out on that game, but yeah, he was out on that game. But we'll definitely see. I think the Chiefs did well getting him back. They just got a lot of guys right now. They just trying to figure out. He didn't really have to do a whole lot because I didn't even get into that game. But Kelce, my God, is there a better duo right now than Holmes to Kelce?
Thank you, Kelce, for the fantasy points.
He had 12 receptions, 179 yards. Oh yeah, thank you for beating me this week.
Oh yeah. Hey, I had to bring down the king, man. You were getting too far up there.
I was like, man, am I really losing? I don't know what that's like. Like, I'm losing. Like,
it was Kelce, man. Kelce about beat you by himself.
By himself, I know. It was nuts. 12 receptions, 179 yards, 1 touchdown, 14.9 yards of reception. Just unguardable. What's up, CJ Jones? I appreciate it. Yeah, just absolutely crazy. So definitely, I think the Chiefs are just trying to find somebody outside of Kelce that can help Mahomes get the ball down the field. We know earlier in the month that the Rams sent the Falcons Van Jefferson. That just never seemed like it was a match with that organization. It just seems like what Van Jefferson should have really done if he wanted to catch more balls from Matthew Stafford is on game day wear the other team's jersey.
Dang.
He guaranteed to get at least one.
Right.
Hell, and as many pick sixes as Stafford throws, he probably could have got a touchdown out of it. I know that was wrong, y'all. Y'all can tell me later that was wrong, but actually it wasn't wrong. It's true. And we know earlier too, the Broncos had sent over Randy Gregory to the 49ers to help their defense as if they needed more help. But I'm
saying that's a nice move.
I'm sure Fred Warner appreciated that very much. And then your boy Chase Claypool had gotten sent from the Bears to the Dolphins. Not that he's done anything like we didn't think he would, but yeah. So there's already been a few trades this month. The biggest question is going to be, so what are the whispers? Who's on the trading block? I'm hearing stuff like Tennessee may try to part ways with Derrick Henry because they're going nowhere fast.
Oh, Derrick Henry. I didn't hear Derrick Henry. I heard their wide receiver that they just picked up is back on the trading blocks because he's not working out with them too well.
Yeah. But that, I mean, could you see could you see Derrick Henry going to like the Cowboys? They need Jerry Jones always says the same thing. I really like the team that we got. I don't really think we need to, go all out. Jerry just don't. What Jerry really mean is, I want to draft him so I can pay him on the low. I don't want to have to sit there and sign a guy. I did that with Amari Cooper, and that didn't work out for me. So he doesn't like to do that to begin with. But Jerry, you're 81 years old. Your fan base doesn't believe that you're really trying to win. And a splash like Derrick Henry would really help. I think it would even energize Tony Pollard in a way where you don't have to use him as your feature back. He can be more of your change of pace back. You can line him up in the backfield, split him out wide and stuff like that, and then put him in the slot and stuff like that. Tony Pollard is really a dynamic dude in open space. When he hits that second level, he gone. I will give him that. He gone. He is electrifying. Is he an every down back? I don't think he is.
I don't think he is either. We had this conversation last week too about his struggles being the number one as opposed to being that change of pace back. It's just not happening for him this year. And I am praying to God that Derrick Henry does not go to the Cowboys because I do not want to hear the Facebook messages and the cigar popping and champagne popping.
I mean, as soon as they sign, they're going to be celebrating.
Yes, I don't want to hear it, man.
Somehow they're going to already have Cowboys Super Bowl champion T-shirts, and I don't know where they got them from. I'd be like, wait a minute. They ain't made those yet. Where'd you get that from?
The Super Bowl tattoos going to come, everything. So please don't let that happen.
Well, and see, that's the problem. They make a move like something like that. They're gonna take it too far. But where could he go? Where would it be a good place for him to go where he would have a chance to win now? Well, you got to look at the handful of teams that are in a position to win now. Miami doesn't need a running back. Achane and Mostert are doing good there. When you look at the 49ers, they got a potential MVP candidate in Christian McCaffrey. You look at Seattle, they're doing good there with their running back. Where would he make an impact? The only places that he can make an impact is on a bad team. The other teams that are really doing well outside of Buffalo really have a pretty good running back. Now, Buffalo could use him because right now it's Latavius Murray and a couple of other guys there. Okay, they could really use him. When you think about, Lord, who else is doing well right now? Where is he going to go where he can make a tremendous impact right now? You got the Dolphins leading. You got the Chiefs leading.
I can tell you the perfect spot for him already.
Give it to me.
You said give it to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this team has a history of doing trades. This team does not really draft. They would rather do their business through trades. Right now, they have a lot of hurt running backs, and they're making moves trying to piece together running backs, and he would fit in perfectly with what they want to do, and he would support their quarterback, the LA Rams.
I just hope the ghost of Todd Hurley doesn't fall upon him. But
Right.
that would be a great. Oh yeah, that LA weather would be real good for that big man.
Oh yeah, he would want to go to LA, no doubt.
And it would take a lot of pressure off of Stafford. It would. Could you imagine if they tried to stack the box on Henry and then you got Cooper Kupp on one-on-one coverage because of that?
And Puka on the other side. I mean, it would just completely open up LA's offense. So
that's a great one. I forgot all about the Rams.
They're still in it. They're not out of it in the West.
No, they're not. They definitely could bounce back. Those wild cards are going to be very, very interesting. I don't think they have a shot at the division, but definitely that wild card. I mean, Seattle is holding serve with the 49ers in some ways, but one of them is going to win that division, and the other one is going to be relegated to a wild card for sure.
Right.
And if you think that you can get a third team out of that same division, the Rams are going to have to come on after this trade deadline. So if they're in the running, not sure where their salary cap is right now, whether they can sign him, but that would be a pretty good get, to be honest with you. That's a really, really good call. I noticed one of our own is seeking a trade in Terrence Marshall Jr. Because he's not been involved in the Panther offense like he should.
How did the girl say, boy, bye?
Yeah, I saw that come across my ESPN wire a week ago, and I'm going, that's a story?
For real, is it a story?
Wait a minute. Bro, you think anybody give a damn you want to seek a trade?
And what are we going to get back for you? 6th round pick?
And I thought you were going to say some chili Fritos or something. Good for you.
Oh, man, we need a rim shot sound effect with you around.
Well, I don't have a rim shot, but I definitely got my man Drewski. And Drewski, what do you normally say?
Got him. We fucking got him.
Yeah, Drewski will say that. Sorry, kids.
Trade my man for some chili Fritos.
Fritos, man, he is just not that dude. Like, come on.
No, not at all.
CJ says Jerry Jones is too damn cheap to bring in Henry to help out Dallas. Relax, Randall. Everybody don't fit your stereotype of a Cowboy fan. Oh Lord, CJ is my resident.
Is he a Cowboy fan?
Big time. Okay, so he's a DC forever. Now CJ thinks that I know, right? Yeah, rub it in on it. CJ, I love CJ to death. CJ thinks that there's a such thing as a rational, non-delusional Cowboy fan.
Such thing.
Because he thinks he is one. So there's levels of delusional Cowboy fans. I don't think that any of them are not delusional. I think there's just levels. I think some of them are just extremists.
Yeah, a lot of them. I don't even think it's a stereotype, to be honest. It just is what it is.
Listen, Cowboy fans are all crazy and delusional on some level. Because they just think their team is going to win. You ain't done it in 28 years. So I just don't understand why one game is going to make you erase 28 years of history. Anyway, I digress. I ain't going down that rabbit hole with CJ. Because every time they win the game, they're like, yeah, see? What you think now? I'm like,
thank you, CJ, for coming on to the show and leaving that comment. And leave some more in the future. Like to hear you support your teams out there.
Now, CJ, we don't bash the Cowboys indiscriminately. I jumps on everybody. I jump on the Ravens. I jump on the doo-doos, which would be the Browns. Everybody knows that. I jump on all of them. So I know you're gonna get it to me later. He says, I'm here. I know you're here. He gonna try to give it to me. We talking about your boys. But yeah, Jerry is cheap because Jerry likes to think that when he drafts guys, that those are his guys. When he brings guys over, those aren't his guys. And it's almost, I don't think it's so much of a cheap thing with Jerry. I think it's an ego thing to think I had to go get somebody else's player to help us win. other than me being able to say that I drafted well and developed the guy well, and he ended up being my guy. That's why Amari was so easy to get rid of, because he wasn't his guy. If he had drafted Amari, Amari would still be there.
Yeah.
But that was the difference. It wasn't a $20 million. It was the fact that Amari wasn't his guy to begin with. And the Amari didn't help that he would disappear in some of the bigger games and stuff like that. And you couldn't find him on the side of a milk carton. But then you add that to the fact that he never was my guy to begin with. It's a lot easier for me to get rid of him and move on from him, because I never really had anything vested in him. We never drafted him, you know? So that's how Jerry looks at a lot of stuff. He's very transactional that way. CJ says he's all about personal credit. Yeah, he wants the credit. He doesn't want to say we sat there and overreached and got a guy that had to help us. He wants to be able to say, see, I'm the one that found Micah. Hey, I'm the guy that drafted CeeDee Lamb. I'm the guy that drafted Dak. He likes his guys. How long did he hang on to Jason Garrett? How long did he help Cooper Rush? Jerry don't let people go that he gets. He like him. How long did he keep Romo? Till he got knocked the heck out. He said forever. Exactly. But these were his guys. You know, it's his family. He held on to Zeke a little bit too long because he drafted Zeke. When you go back and you look at that, so how long is Pollard going to be there? About another 25 years. So Micah Parsons will die a Cowboy.
Parsons ain't ever going nowhere, ever.
And a point of personal privilege, side note, rest in peace to the one only Shaft, Mr. Richard Roundtree.
Yeah, I saw that earlier too.
Yeah, everybody wanted to be Shaft, particularly me too. He made wearing black trench coaches in August a thing, a very desirable thing. So, Mr. Richard Roundtree, man, ain't nobody do it better, man. Sleep in peace, sir. But definitely back to your trades. Saquon Barkley's coming up in some trade rumors, even though Saquon has definitely said, I want to remain a Giant. Won't be his decision because they think that, here's the thing, Saquon, I think the Giants, if the Giants weren't actually doing okay, I think it'd be even a little bit more pressure on them. Now, they are in the bottom of their division. They probably have no pathway to get into the playoffs because the Eagles and the Cowboys pretty much have it locked. I don't even give the Commanders right now any chance.
No.
So the Giants are looking at Saquon knowing that they just franchised him this past year. They can use the tag on him again next year. I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to try to unload him. I think what they wanted to do was say, okay, if we can get into the first 8 games and Saquon puts on some really good tape, then we can use him as trade bait.
Could be. I didn't think of it that way, but could be very well.
Because what you want to be able to do is, if you want to trade a guy, but the guy's been hurt a lot, what you want people to have in their mind, the last impression you want to be able to have is 8 games worth of tape to be able to say, okay, yeah, he's had some issues with some injuries and stuff like that. But overall, these last 8 games, he's been balling out, y'all. Look at what Saquon's doing. Y'all remember Saquon? Y'all like Saquon? How much you like him? You think he'll do good for you? Saquon right now, I mean, he's kind of like the little gadget guy. He's doing everything. He's running. He's catching passes out the backfield, turning it upfield, and all kinds of things. So he is still definitely a usable player. I think that he is definitely going to be trade bait. I don't know if teams are going to sign him only because of the injuries and maybe his asking price. Because the thing with Saquon is do you really want to put him on his existing contract, knowing that at the end of the season you're going to be in the same position where you're going to have to sign him to an extension?
Yeah, I'm still interested to see what the Panthers are going to do with Brian Burns in this situation. You know, I really think that they need to trade him. So we'll see how this works out.
I thought Jeremy Chin might be gone, but they just put him on IR.
Yeah, I saw that too. Chin went to the IR. The Panthers are going nowhere, no time fast. Like we've discussed before previously,
Over
they
17,
don't
baby.
have any first round draft picks. They got to do something to get into the first round again because they got too many holes to fill by just waiting to the second round for next year.
Hey, off topic a little bit, but did you see this story where Caleb, what's his name, is wanting whatever team to draft him to give him part ownership in the team?
Man, that junk was so unbelievable. I couldn't even. I had to research it through a second party just to see.
It was
This
true.
possible. Yeah, this dude has lost his freaking mind. Who does he think he is?
Man, look, it went from fully guaranteed contracts to now, I want some ownership.
He must be crazy, man.
Now,
I just
I'm almost said the N word on here. I almost said please.
right, and that's what teams are gonna say too. Not the N word, but they gonna say
They gonna say
it.
it. They're not gonna say it to the press, but I'm sure they sit up in one of them rooms going,
Yeah.
please.
Whoever's in line to draft him is just gonna skip him right over and go to Michael Penix from Washington. And if they don't look at him, they'll look at our boy from UNC and keep it moving, man.
Keep it moving, keep it moving. That was just unbelievable. Which my boys from UNC, I will say this too. Virginia, really? This ain't basketball, y'all. Virginia.
Yeah, I have no explanation for what happened.
Virginia.
Man. It's like, come on, dog.
Bro.
It's like
y'all beat all these other teams, and then Virginia come, and that's the one you want to lose.
Every year they lay some kind of egg, no matter how good they're playing and how good things are going. We had one path to the national championship or the playoffs, you know.
Yeah.
And that one path is now done. It's closed.
Over.
I don't care if we do go to the ACC championship and win. Ain't nobody going to take a one-loss ACC team and put them in the playoffs. It's not happening.
Right.
Especially after you lost to Virginia. Please.
Virginia. Yeah, so you just killed your whole strength of schedule.
You just killed your team. Yeah, you just killed your whole year.
You lost to the wrong one. I'm trying to tell you right now. So I'm sorry. I had to go dig on. See, CJ? I even dig on my own Tar Heels.
See? My God, man.
Oh gosh, I deserve better than this. We've been waiting a long time to have a good team in football. So
I'm telling you. You know, I didn't watch the game. I was getting like updates on it. And I saw, I think it was 21-17 in the fourth quarter or something like that. And I was like, well, this is really a close one, but by God, they're going to come back. And, you know, it's going in the fourth quarter, we're going to handle business. I woke up and caught the daggone score later, and I had to sit up and wipe my eyes and look at it just to make sure we really lost to Virginia.
Really? Yeah. No, I got first I caught wind of it was I was like, I don't need to watch this game. I got a late game alert that said close game. And I'm like, Carolina, man, was that a close game? Like, they should have blew them out in the second quarter. What's going on?
I'm saying.
No, not at all. Not at all. Lord have mercy. Anyway, with the trades and stuff coming up, I'm trying to see are there other teams that are not in it that would have players on their teams that they should get rid of, like the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals really have anybody that they can just throw out there. The Bears, the Packers, probably don't have a whole lot of players that a lot of these upper echelon teams are going to go after. So when you see big names like Derrick Henry, like that, those are going to be prime guys. When you see the NFC South, I mean, right now the Falcons are. The Falcons are winning the NFC South right now. I don't know how that's possible. But then you got the Bucs and the Saints. Are they a player or two away from pushing themselves further into winning that division? All it takes is they're only going to get one team in. So you have to win that division to get to the playoffs in the NFC South. But then when you look at the Patriots, do they have any draft bait? Not really. The Broncos keep giving up all the players that they got. They got rid of Randy Gregory. They got rid of their other end. So they're basically done too. And then when you look,
they're even trying to ship Russ.
huh?
They're trying to ship Russ. They're not happy with Russ.
Ain't nobody gonna take Russ.
No. Mm-mm.
Look, you can't get Russ to get traded to West Charlotte Lions right now. So I'm sorry.
You
Russ,
better show him some Seattle tape.
right. Russ, you can't even play for my high school football team right now, bro.
No.
We gonna keep the quarterback that we got because he actually knows how to throw on the run. I've seen this kid. I can't think of his name right now, but I've seen our quarterback West Charlotte. You know, they got their hands dealt to them this past week, but they still doing good. But this quarterback can throw on the run. Russ, them days are over for you, bro. And I think he might be taller than you too. So, but yeah, that's what we got going on with the trades. Back to our Panthers. Yeah, if you see how the Panthers are doing, they have a lot of players that they could just let go. I don't know if anybody will take Chin because he's injured right now, or if that kind of messed that up. But Gross Matos is just got put on IR. Burns is probably done after Sunday. I'm almost surprised if they let him play.
Yeah,
If he
Dante
doesn't,
Jackson is another one that needs to
Dante
be
Jackson,
on the trade line.
if
Yes,
you see
definitely.
some of these players at the 11th hour end up with some miscellaneous injury or get a healthy scratch, you know they're gone.
Yeah,
Because if you want Brian Burns, you don't need to see him play on Sunday to convince you that you want Brian Burns. But you damn sure don't want Brian Burns to get hurt by Houston for no reason at all.
right.
And I will say also Sunday, being added to the Ring of Honor is going to be one Muhsin Muhammad, as well as number 90, Mr. JP, Julius Peppers, being thrown into the Ring of Honor on Sunday at Bank of America Stadium.
All right.
Yeah,
Not to the old days.
Yeah. When they actually were worth a damn.
Yes.
Yeah, so it'd be nice. It'd be nice to kind of see them get a win. It's also going to be interesting because it'll be the first two quarterbacks picked in this past year's draft between Mighty Mouse and CJ Stroud. I'm sorry, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. So that'll be interesting to see how that's going to pan out. Is Bryce Young going to really get himself up for that game to be able to prove the Panther fans? Look, it's Bryce Young. If CJ Stroud come in your house and outplay you, I don't want to hear nothing else from you the rest of this year.
Man, I'm telling you, that's gonna be ugly, dog.
I don't want to hear nothing else.
Especially after a Panther bye, and we've had 2 weeks to plan for this kid. We got to win this game. And I know it sounds crazy to say that the Panthers have to win a game, but if they're going to win a game, it needs to be this one.
This one.
It really needs to be this one.
There are not too many other games on your schedule that you're going to be even favored. I don't even know if you're favored in this game.
If CJ Stroud comes to your house and puts up a 300-yard day while you throwing 3 interceptions, that's going to have stank all over it.
All over it. Look, they lose that game. Frank Reich, thank you with your service.
I know.
We're going to call San Francisco and see if we can bring Steve Wilkes back.
I'm telling you, man. When Frank was hired, I supported it. Yep. Even over Wilkes, I understood it because that's the direction they wanted to go. Wright had this history of helping quarterbacks, and I thought he'd help the young quarterback that we drafted. And no matter who it was, I thought we would get good results. Yep. It has been anything but that. I've been extremely disappointed by his play calling. I've been extremely disappointed by his game management and clock management. And he's not a rookie coach, man. He shouldn't be making these type of mistakes.
He should not. Did you see, too, where he's actually going to turn over the offensive play call duties? He's not.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was funny. All of a sudden, this is his baby. He's been holding on to that, even when asked before in previous press conferences. Oh, no, I'm not going to give up the play calling. I'm going to keep doing that because, I feel that's really a need and a strength of mine, blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden, the very next week, he's giving it up because
why
Tepper pulled him to the office
why
and
do head
told
coaches
him
have such
he
a
needed to give
problem
it
with
up.
that when you basically hear every play call that comes through and you can veto them, or well, maybe you can't always veto them because you only have so much time before the call goes into the quarterback's headset in his helmet before it goes dead and he doesn't get the play call. But why, if you and the offensive coordinator, obviously you have your strategy meetings through the week about what calls you scheme the game plan and stuff like that. Why isn't the head coach and his coordinators on the same page enough to where you can give them a little bit more of the play calling duties to give you a better idea of game management, in-game adjustments, and things like
Exactly.
that?
Especially if you're struggling with in-game management, struggling with adjustments made
Because
at halftime.
maybe you're stretching yourself too thin. Why do you feel
Exactly.
like you got to sit there and have everything in your lap? And then, okay, well, what has the benefit of that been? 0-6.
Right. Why come we can see that sitting here on your show and he can't see it for himself?
Yeah. That's the thing that drives me crazy about these guys is like, man, is the ego that big
Yes.
that even things that are so blatantly obvious to people that don't get paid as much as they do to go, wait a minute, we 0-6. I'm calling the plays. Yeah, I have somebody called my offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of damn sense does that make?
Zero.
It's like
And I'm
hiring a manager to run your business, but you still there every day making all the decisions.
Yeah, I'm struggling with game management. And I'm struggling with clock management. You know
But
what?
I
I could
don't
probably
want to
get
give up nothing. I don't want to
yeah,
delegate nothing.
right. I could give it. I could probably be a better fix on that if I had somebody calling the plays. But nah, I'm going to keep calling the plays because I'm just going to do it because
He think he's still under center.
he
Frank,
must.
you ain't been a quarterback in a long time, bro. And
Right.
that really wasn't that big of a career, bro. So I ain't trying to crap on you. I'm just keeping it real.
Keeping it real, bro.
The best leader is the one that has other strong people around them. And whether it's football, whether it's business or whatever, when the only person that you're gonna trust is the one that you see in the mirror, you are bound for 0-6 or you bound for failure. So we'll see how this goes now. Now it'll be more of a testament to see, well, okay, do you have the right offensive coordinator? Not that you didn't put him in an 0-6 hole, and now that you expect him to sit there and yield you results. Because now your quarterback has to get used to hearing everything come from this person instead of from you. So
Yeah.
that's going to be it. So now you're changing it up when it doesn't matter anymore. But these guys are playing for contracts. They're playing for a lot of things, pride included, I would imagine. We need to really see the second half of the season, even though the season is over. We need to see some improvement to make us believe going into this off season that you now have some kind of framework that you're going to be able to take in the next season. Nobody is believing that anything you do now is going to put you in a position to win the NFC South. It would take you turning around this season, flipping it on its head, and it would take Atlanta, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans just letting the bottom fall out. You would need some help because you got to remember the only way for this to come through the South is you got to win the division. There is not a wild card team that's going to come out of the NFC South.
No, you forget a wild card coming out.
If you don't win that division, then you might as well be sitting down with the Cowboys in the offseason, which means December. I had to. That was too easy.
Low-hanging fruit right there.
In December.
You gonna piss your boy CJ off.
Super Bowl is in November. All season is in December. It's just gonna go like that. Any games coming up this week that you're gonna be interested in?
Oh, most definitely. We start tomorrow night with that one because the whole nation and the whole world is going to see the return of the true Baker Mayfield when he gets his complete ass handed to him tomorrow.
Baker
and I can't wait.
Now, Rand, I would normally agree with you. But we just saw Mac Jones
I know.
beast out on the Bills.
I know.
And currently, Baker has found Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and Otten, and he looks like a different dude. Now, I'm by all means, like I said with the San Francisco Minnesota game, on paper, this looks like a overmatched bloodbath to me. I got a feeling Tampa might make this game close.
Oh, I could definitely see it. I mean,
I don't think the Bills are gonna let another game slip through like that, but it's a short week. Man, anything can happen on a Thursday game because it's a short week. But here's the only thing that's gonna give me hope that the Bills win this game is they're at home.
Right.
That's it.
It would hurt my heart.
They're home.
It would hurt my heart to see Baker Mayfield go out there and play
I'm saying, even
miraculous
if they lose
ball.
Out,
a 300-yard game or something like that.
Yeah.
It would really make me lose my dinner, man.
And Baker walking around headbutting people without helmets on, and he got that shoulder, and he got like he the biggest man in the arena.
That guy's just nauseating to me.
That man, I tell you, if the Bucs win that game, the first thing, the Bucs win that game at 11:20. At 11:21, when I try to go to the water cooler, it should tell me that the page no longer exists.
Right. Or you're gonna see new moderator for it because I'm gonna be out of there.
The water cooler board has booted Randall Hargrove from his own page that he created. Like what?
Randall Hargrove has removed himself.
It was a hostile takeover by all the Baker fans. Because not only will this be a Thursday game, but if they win this Thursday game, you will have to hear this for 10 days before they play again.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying Buffalo, you have to blow these boys out the box.
And you got sack Baker about 5 times and pick him off at least 2 or 3 times. Because if you don't, if Baker has a clean pocket all game, Evans has 100 yards receiving, Godwin got 80 yards receiving, and they scored like 30 points in this game, Randall is not going to hear the end of this. Y'all don't understand.
I'm telling you, save your boy.
They come for him, for Baker, more than they do with the MJ LeBron debate. They will come for him. Y'all just don't understand. They will come for him. CJ says we will be watching. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely be watching because I got to see this because Lord have mercy, if Baker win this game. So you're absolutely right. That's going to be an interesting game. Sunday's games, we've got the Jets against the Giants. That's going to be what we always affectionately call our Dookie Bowl of the week. So we'll see how that goes. If the Giants do not play Saquon Barkley in this game, he gone.
They better play him because I got Saquon on one of my fantasy squads.
So my recommendation is this is a 1:00 game. I would keep refreshing my fantasy all the way up till 12:30 when they have to put in the last scratches.
Yeah, because that was really gonna piss me off. Bijan Robinson, they got me like that. I started Bijan this week. I don't know if there are any fantasy owners that had him, but he was just a curious case. They said he was ill, but he was in the game for 3 plays. He was not only on anybody's injury report leading up to the game. He participated in full practices right up till Friday, and all of a sudden he's active for the game, and they give him 3 plays. You talking about some pissed off fantasy managers out there?
I bet.
I was one of them.
I bet. And I didn't even talk about that game, but the Falcons ended up finding a way to win that game against the Bucs. That was crazy. Desmond Ridder went 19 of 25 for 250. Baker Mayfield, 27 of 42 for 275 and a touchdown.
Oh God, come on, man. This can't be taking place, B. He didn't do none of that for us, man.
Oh, and if he was still on the team, he still wouldn't have done it. Yeah. Do you know? Let me see. I'm gonna see if I'm right on this. Yeah, Baker's thrown for 1,300 yards already this season. He's smack dab. He's thrown for more yards than Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, Kenny Pickett, Joe Burrow, and Justin Fields.
And he's with a winning team. This cannot continue. This cannot continue.
8 touchdowns, 4 picks, 89 QBR. Yeah, Baker Mayfield. So yeah, man. They coming for you. I'm just letting you know what's going on, Mr. Ty Harris. Thank you for joining, sir. Yeah, so that's gonna be a funny game to see too how that pans out. You've moving on. You got the Jaguars going to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. This is gonna be interesting because seeing TJ Watt try to go after Sunshine and slow down the run game with Etienne is going to be interesting on that side of the ball. Seeing if the Steelers are going to try to throw on the Jags or if they're going to try to run straight up the middle with sprinkling of Najee Harris and what's the name, Jalen?
Jalen, yeah.
Yeah, so to see how that's going to go. So this is, I think it's going to be an ugly, low-scoring game, honestly.
Definitely. I feel the same way. Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to get loose in this game. I mean, you've got some guys on both sides of the balls that can make some big plays, and you may see a lot of big plays in between the 20s, but is that going to translate into touchdowns or field goals? I think it's really going to come down to that. You know, who's going to be able to get that extra play, who's going to have the ball last and end up being the one to punch it in with no time left on the clock. I think it's going to come down to that.
I could tell you that them fans in Pittsburgh are going to be rabbit crazy for this game. I could tell you that one. Them terrible towels going to be everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know why, too? Because think about it. Pittsburgh is in a place that if they can keep the momentum going and keep the pressure now on Baltimore slips up and Pittsburgh takes advantage of it just like that.
Yeah.
So every game now is a huge game for Pittsburgh to continue to stay in that race.
Yeah, we got to take them, man. We've already beat Baltimore once, so that's in our favor. We've already beat the Browns once, so that's also in our favor. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You got the Eagles and the Commanders. Eagles
all day.
Y'all playing in Washington? I need to see y'all pick it up just a little bit. I mean, y'all actually won that other game, but you don't look as invincible as you once did.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how, teams that we thought were just unbeatable have all of a sudden come back to earth a little bit. 49ers as well.
Absolutely. Now, this next game brings me so much pride. The LA Rams are going into Big D.
That's an interesting one.
This is going to be an interesting game. I would like to lean towards Dallas. No. Let me stop lying. I would not like to lean towards Dallas, but I'm going to lean towards Dallas. But I kind of would not be surprised if the Rams go in there and beat them.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
And the reason is this. And CJ, if you're still on, I know you'll agree with this. AT&T Stadium is not home field advantage for the Cowboys at all. Most times, other teams travel into your stadium and show up. LA is one of those teams. The Rams, the Chargers, the Raiders, Chiefs, they will show up in your stadium easily. Now, if y'all play the Panthers, no, you ain't gonna see them there. But Steelers will show up in AT&T Stadium.
We travel everywhere.
Eagles will show up in AT&T Stadium. He says, I agree. So you can't count on the home field because Dallas actually plays better when they're not in Dallas. That's the only reason I'm thinking that it'll be close, even though I want to lean towards the Cowboys in that game. They tend to play better away from quote-unquote home. This is not Arlington. CJ, you're right. On the road. That's when they play better. And I don't know if it's a psyche thing They're not in front of their fans, so they feel a little bit more loose. But I've never really seen them. Now, when they used to play in the old stadium in Arlington, that was a home game. But when they built this Jerry World, yeah, it's just never been a home game for them. Other teams have come in and take over the stadium. Now, I can say that too cocky. I can say that too about Bank of America Stadium. Because when the Panthers play the Eagles,
Oh God, it's bad. It's been
God,
bad.
when they play the Steelers there, I don't see nothing but terrible towels.
Yeah.
It ain't Heinz Field, it's Three Rivers.
Yeah, they had the Vikings come in a few weeks ago and took over Bank of America, and that was just terrible.
That was
it's like the Vikings, really, man.
Yes. I was downtown and just saw Viking fans walking down Tryon Street, just all over the place. Like, damn.
Yeah, it was bad that day.
Yeah, I've seen it. There's a lot of Detroit fans down here. I didn't realize that.
There are definitely there. A lot of New Yorkers too.
New Yorkers. Oh yeah. If they play the Giants, yeah, it's MetLife all day long. That's MetLife Stadium. You might as well call it MetLife. Bills the same way. You know, it turns into Bills town. So, and we get that a lot here in Carolina because the team is only about 27, 28 years old now.
Yeah.
So it's not even quite 30 years. So a lot of these fans grew up rooting for other teams, and now they root for the Panthers because it's their home team, but they still have a primary team at best. So a lot of times when those teams come into town, they throw on those jerseys and they take over that 80,000 seat stadium. And yeah, the Panthers have no home field advantage at all. And I kind of see that in Dallas too. So that's going to be interesting.
I just think the Rams have a shot because of that Rams offense. I like it, man. You got Puka on one side, you got Kupp on the other. They're hard to deal with. And if Stafford has one of those games where he's hot, I mean, it could be interesting come the fourth quarter.
And listen, there is no Trayvon Diggs in this game.
Exactly.
Stephon Gilmore is a good guy, but he can't cover both of them.
Can't be everywhere. No, them are two really good wide receivers. If y'all never heard of Puka Nacua, you need to get some daggone film on him. That dude is no joke, man.
So when he goes off on Sunday, don't sit there and think he just came out of nowhere. We've heard about this dude for a minute.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think Stafford actually does the same thing. When he's away from home, he plays better and looser. So that might actually kind of work for the Rams as well. Cowboys play better away. The Rams play better away. There's only one team that's away this week, and it's going to be the Rams. So that's going to be an interesting game. I would like to tell you that I would love to see the Cowboys win, but if this is a 1:00 game, all I'm waiting for is the Cowboys to lose, so then I can go to YouTube and watch Stephen A. at 4:15.
Yeah, I will never tell you that I would want the Cowboys to win. You never hear that come out of my mouth.
Yeah, I'm be honest right now. I know this sounds bad to say, but if the Cowboys were playing Hamas's football team,
you have to think about it. Woo, man.
I might be talking about I ain't American.
No, that's bad.
That's terrible. I'll be like, wait a minute, Hamas against the Cowboys? Oh man, I ain't no good. I'm sorry, y'all. We got another Dookie boat. Well, he said too much, bruh. Yeah, I know. The Vikings and the Packers are playing. I would call that a Dookie Bowl, but after watching what the Vikings did to San Francisco, this may actually end up being a pretty good game where the Vikings can assert themselves a little bit more in this race in the NFC North. I still think Detroit is still a little bit head above shoulders, but the Vikings have a good opportunity to keep the pressure on them for sure. Definitely,
Love better show me something. I'm telling you.
He better. He really better. And they're at home too. You're at Lambeau this week, so you better do something. The Titans and the Falcons are playing at 1:00. Desmond Ridder showed up in the last game against Tampa, so he probably won't show up in this game. Probably gonna throw a couple of picks. But Tennessee just cannot move the ball. But I really think Derrick Henry can run all over the Falcons. I don't see how you stop Derrick Henry. He throws touchdowns. He catches the ball. He runs the ball. He's sick. If you don't see Derrick Henry play on Sunday, he gone. Y'all gonna hear me say that a couple times. Now, another game that's coming up, Rand, that I would not have thought to spotlight, the Patriots and the Dolphins. But after seeing what the Patriots did to one divisional opponent, can they go to Miami and do it to them too?
No, I don't think so. I think this is one of those.
The answer should be 70-10.
Right. I think it will actually be one of those games where Miami takes out their frustrations on the Pats, and the Pats were able to get up for one game, but I don't see two in a row.
Yeah, I agree.
This one will be bloodbath.
Texans and the Panthers. Who you got? Panthers?
I'm gonna go Panthers, man.
Me too. Interesting game of the week to me is going to be the Bengals and the 49ers. Both teams really need this game, particularly Cincinnati, but they're going to be playing at Levi. So they're going to be in San Fran. That's going to be interesting to really see what goes in this game. But this is going to be a turning point. And Brock Purdy is in concussion protocol. Will he be out in time? Will they have to go to Sam Darnold to start that game? So that's going to be real interesting to see as well. So that's what we got coming up this week. We got the Chiefs and the Broncos. Chiefs, if you play down to this competition, you're really going to disappoint me. You should easily beat the Broncos. Bears and the Chargers. Justin Herbert, man, Staley, we need to see y'all do something because you have been underwhelming at best to this point.
That seat's getting hot for Mr. Staley, man.
Yeah, it should be on fire. It should be he should be sitting on a bonfire. It shouldn't even be hot no more. It ought to be almost like, bro, there ain't no seat no more. You just need to stand. You can't sit down. you sit down when you win a game convincingly against a quality opponent. So we'll see how that goes. A lot of games coming up. A lot more interesting games this week than I would have thought last week, but we will see. Any given Sunday, Rand, is what we always say.
That's right. Any given Sunday. When we come back here on next Wednesday, I want to be talking about a Pittsburgh victory, a Panther victory, and a daggone Buffalo Bill blowout. That's all right. I want to talk about.
That's right. Before we go to quick announcements, y'all, if you haven't already, make sure that you go to YouTube or Lord have mercy, Instagram. I couldn't get it in my head. To make sure that you check out my boys, Kendrick Cope, as they are going to be performing at a venue near you. You make sure you check them out. There he is, Mr. Randall Hargrove. You know, I was just thinking, man, the only clip that I didn't get, y'all didn't do was Purple Rain, and that's a classic that y'all do.
Oh yeah, Purple Rain. We'll be doing that November the 4th at Norvell.
Okay.
So y'all come check us out up at Norvell.
And CJ, this one's gonna be for you. After the Rams do beat the Cowboys, we definitely gonna have Drewski on. And Drewski, what are you gonna tell
Got him. We fucking got him.
I had to. Y'all have a good night, guys. Great show. Thank you, CJ. I'm sure he put that in before I played Drewski, but it's all good. We will see y'all again next week, and have a great fantasy week. Rand, as always, thanks for joining. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see y'all again next week. Y'all be good. Peace out.
Peace.